Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes. Shouting loud, no time for breaks. Feel the fire, the pulse, the stakes. This is where the world shakes. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes podcast. We're excited to have you join us as we'll be talking some Baltimore and Philly sports today, going over each team's NFL draft and the current states of their respective baseball teams. We're going to start off by talking some Philly sports. And Gray, we feel like starting with some football or some damn hockey.
Oh, let's get fired up. Let's get fired up a little.
Right.
So, yeah. Being a lifelong Philadelphian, the Flyers were actually my first love. My first jersey I ever had was an Eric Lindros jersey, and I rocked that until I grew out of it from like age 4 to 6. That was like my favorite thing to wear. So the Flyers are very near and dear to my heart. And I was willing to sacrifice the Philly season for a Stanley Cup run. I'm not even joking. Like, I have seen all my teams win a championship except the Flyers. I would do anything to see a cup run. And it looks like we're going to get bounced again. But you know what? We weren't expected to be here. It was a rebuilding year, and we're kind of playing with house money. But when we bounced Pittsburgh in the first round, I'm like, all right, this could be it. And then the hockey gods weren't so kind. The wheels are falling off. We got some injuries, got some key players out, which sucks. But you know what? It was a fun run, and hopefully they get a taste of it, and it'll just set us up for further success down the road. But I was down in Myrtle Beach a couple weeks ago visiting some family, and they're all fired up. They're all ready to go. My uncle, he remembers, the Broad Street Bullies and stuff like that. And, we were talking about that. My grandmother, God bless her, I love her. She was all excited for a cup run, and just in true Philadelphia sports fashion, our hearts are being broken in real time.
Well, I mean, just looking at like the standings and everything, the East was extremely competitive.
Oh, East was stacked this year.
Like everyone had a winning record. Like it was just crazy how good everyone was.
The East was stacked, yeah, and that always brings to mind whenever one conference or league is more stacked than another, like how do playoff seedings work? Because there are so many more teams in the East that deserve to be over in the West. I mean, the Pacific division was dog shit. There's no other way to put it. So how do we balance that going forward? I know a lot of people are calling for, and this is universal sports wide, like maybe reducing leagues or divisions, conferences, stuff like that, and really just focusing who deserves to be there. But at the end of the day, you just got to play the schedules in front of you. But yeah, I mean, the East was stacked. Holy shit. I can't remember last time that it was this competitive from top to bottom.
Yeah, because I mean, the Capitals were not terrible this season.
No, Caps had a good year, and Obi still has some gas in the tank.
Yeah, and they just couldn't even crack it. It was so stacked. I mean, Lightning getting bounced. I mean, I don't know if that put a smile on your face or not. But
I mean, it put a big smile on my face. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, hockey doesn't deserve. No hockey team should be further south than Washington D.C. In my opinion, it should be set in the Northeast, the Midwest, and parts of the West, and then just on Canada. So, as a true hockey fan, whenever a Florida team gets bounced, be it the Panthers or the Lightning, the Stars in Texas, that makes me very happy.
Well, they got bounced by Montreal, so that's definitely like some icing on the cake.
That's my number 2 team. The Canadiens have always been my number 2 team. My favorite player of all time, John LeClair, played for the Canadiens his first couple seasons, and when I was a wee kid, I adopted him as my number 2. So that also brought a smile to my face.
So looking next season after, I mean, do you see can the Flyers make a real push?
I really think so. Yeah, we got Danny Briere. Trust the process. I trust in Danny. I trust his vision for the organization. I'm loving what Keith Jones has done coming in as president, really revamping the Flyers to when he was a player and really embodying the grit and passion that the team is known for. So I have high hopes for the next couple of seasons. maybe not next year. We still got, still got to, work out some kinks. But a couple years down the road, I'm really confident that this team can make a competitive cup run. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years this team is hoisting the Stanley Cup above their heads.
So what do you think the missing piece is? Like that one missing piece they need just to make it click?
In Philadelphia, the old saying is, the goalies win championship, and we have a beloved goalie, may rest in peace, Bernie Perrant. And the saying was, only Jesus saves more than Bernie. And ever since then, we've been cursed with goalies. We had, Pele Lindbergh, who unfortunately passed away young. And then just from a string from there on, it didn't look great until we got Vladar, who's been fantastic. And I'm so happy. So for the first time in my lifetime, I have true faith in a Flyers goalie. Carter Hart was supposed to be that guy, but for obvious reasons, the wheels kind of fell off there. And good riddance. Really, I think this team just needs to get older. I think this playoff run has really, they got a taste of what's to come. And I really think as they age, as they mature as a group and become more cohesive, I really feel like, what's missing is just experience. Coots as the captain, he's great. But the team's young, and they just need to get experience. And I really feel like that's just the biggest hurdle is just experience.
Awesome. Well, it was a good transition because Flyers beating the hockey Pittsburgh team to the Eagles stealing a wide receiver in the first round.
Malachi Lemon, you gotta love it. The Yinzers were so pissed. They made me so happy.
I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if you watched the video when Howie was wheeling and dealing on that
Dark
one.
Howie. What would you expect? It's Howie Roseman. He's an evil genius.
Oh, I mean, it was just crazy that the Steelers were on the phone with Lemon. And they're just like all hyped up, like, yep, we're going to pick you next. Like, and then all of a sudden, yo, Eagles are calling.
Hold up, I got the Eagles on the phone.
So, I mean, how'd you think of the draft?
I'm very happy. On the last pod I was on, I was saying that I wanted them to draft a number one wide receiver. And Malachi Lemon, we could not have done better than getting the Biletnikoff winner on their team. Unfortunately, I think this signals the end of A.J. Brown in Philadelphia. And I'll always be thankful for A.J. He was a hell of a player. Just the distraction off the field is becoming a little too much. Going probably to New England if we want to talk about distractions off the field. What the hell is going on there? But that's I'm not the New England expert. I'm here for Philadelphia. But I was very happy with the draft. I mean, getting probably Goddard's replacement in the second round, also a good move. Trading for a solid DN and Grenard. I think that was a solid move too. Really shoring up that D line, which was a big issue last year. We had some injuries, and I don't think anybody was happy with the progress that was made. So I mean, getting a solid edge, fantastic. So I'm really happy walking out of the draft, and I'm more confident about the Eagles than I was maybe a month or so ago. I still don't have high hopes. I'm not predicting a Super Bowl run or anything like that. And it's still early. We're not even to June yet. It's still mid-May, early May. So anything can happen. But I feel better about the Eagles than I did a month ago coming out of the draft, and I think we did all we could do, and I think that's all you can ask for. And once again, Howie Roseman's if you want to call him an evil wizard, if you want to call him a mad genius, you want to call him just a genius in general. Thank God for Howie Roseman, because I mean that man is he could have saved the organization there. It was looking bleak there. Distractions were piling up, but I'm feeling really good coming out of the draft.
Okay. And then I mean, it looks like he picked up some tight end depth with drafting one and signing a undrafted free agent.
Yep.
I mean, just based on Jalen Hurts' game from what I see, because I'm not a diehard Philly fan, but it feels like having those tight end safety nets can help him a lot just in the short game.
Yeah, he likes to check down. I think, Goddard's been a good target coming out of my fellow South Dakota State Jackrabbit, go Jacks, coming out of the second round in 2018. And he's been a fan favorite of mine. I actually have his jersey, and I love rocking it. But yeah, Jalen likes to check down to the tight end, so I think tight end depth is going to be huge this year. Goddard gets injured frequently. There's no other way to put it. So having him, having more options at the position, I think will be great. And It's been last couple of seasons. Looks like Goddard's going to be on the way out, but we bring him back for another year, which makes me happy. But with I can't remember his name, the kid out of Vanderbilt, to be essentially his replacement. I feel like this might be Goddard's last season, and hopefully we can send him out on a positive note.
So, what do you think is going to happen with AJ Brown? You think he's going to get traded, or are they just going to cut him?
I think he'll get traded. I think with Malachi Lemon being drafted and with Devontae Smith on the roster, there's no room for 3 superstar wide receivers. And just the way that things have been shaping up with AJ Brown for the last, ever since the Super Bowl run. After that, people have been wanting him gone, rightfully or wrongfully. I personally think that a lot of it is self-inflicted from the Philadelphia media, but they haven't done themselves any favors. So I think they'll flip him, maybe get a 3rd, a 4th, something like that. Ideally a 1. I would, in a perfect world, be a 1. He's still a dominant wideout, one of the best in the game. But I think they're just going to need to move on. I think they're going to be willing to do anything. I don't think Howie's dumb enough to cut him. But at the end of the day, like, we already have 2 stud wide receivers now on the roster who are coming up. So I don't know. We'll see. But my hope is that he gets traded. I hope he gets to, you never want to necessarily let the player dictate where he wants to go, but I hope that's at least taken into it. And I hope he gets to go to New England and be reunited if he's still there with Vrabel. Once again, I'm not the New England expert, but we'll let somebody else weigh on that. But I wish AJ Brown well, and I hope we can get something good out of it.
Yeah, he's got to go to a team with cap space just because he's got a big contract.
Oh, exactly. It has to be somebody who's willing to take that. And I would also expect us to eat some of that salary as well.
Yeah, so if Vegas is in the mix, I don't know if that's a good fit for him, but Vegas has the cap space.
Yeah, you know what? Getting him paired up, yeah, that would be pretty cool to see him in Vegas. I'm not admittedly, I know I trash on Pittsburgh all the time. They're my number 2 team, but with Fernando Mendoza and AJ Brown, that's something I might be worth rooting for number 2 team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So, is there any moves you think post June 1st that they need to make at all to build this roster out?
Other than AJ, other than making a decision with AJ, I don't think anything else needs to happen. I feel like the roster is pretty set. I'm here for a Jalen Hurts bounce back. He'll be under center more this year, which he's not exactly the most comfortable with. But I think it'll be good to get him, something new. I have hopes for Sean that he'll be able to kind of turn things around there. God, anything has to be better than Kevin Patullo. So we'll see what happens. But I feel like the roster's there, and I'm feeling pretty good heading into the season. I'm predicting, it's still early. It's still early on. 11-7 doesn't seem unreasonable, or 11-6 doesn't seem unreasonable. So 10-7, I think that's doable. I'm still picking us to win the division. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
You and Chris can fight about that division. I don't know if you heard.
I know, and I know last time I said that my bad take last time was that the commies were going to win the division, and the cocky Philadelphians coming back at me, and I'm going to retract that take. I'm putting all of my faith in the Eagles to turn the ship around again this season.
He said the Commanders are going to go 9-8 and win the division.
No, that's not going to happen. The Eagles are going to go. I'm saying 11-6, 10-7 will win the division. And I got to see more out of Jaden Daniels, and I still think he's the future of the league, but we'll see what happens there.
Do you have any fears of the Giants at all? I know it's new. I'm just saying. Harbaugh took the Ravens draft philosophy, and he got some stud players in the draft.
But it's the Giants. They're the Mets of the National Football League. No matter what happens, it's bound to blow up in their face somehow. I have no fear of the Giants. Hey. Even with Harbaugh in charge, I trust him. I think he's one of the best head coaches of all time. But you can only put lipstick on a pig so much. And at the end of the day, it's still the New York Football Giants. So I don't have much faith. And they don't scare me.
I can see Harbaugh with the little New York Nick voodoo doll and stabbing it to get the magic back to the Giants because the Mets don't have it. So
oh my God! Talk about a shit show! What's happening in Queens? My God! Hey, Matt, once again, that warms my cold, dead heart. As somebody who hates and despises the New York Mets, nothing makes me happier than seeing just the absolute wheels come off of that franchise yet again in the most embarrassing way possible. It's
They
like
brought it on
chef's kiss.
themselves. They brought it on themselves, but they didn't re-sign Diaz. They're like Devin Williams can replace him. Devin Williams proves, I think, last season with the Yankees he isn't what he used to be. And letting Pete Alonso walk.
It's the curse of the polar bear. I'm telling you. I know a lot of Mets fans where I live, and they're all just despondent, and they're like, they would do anything to bring Pete Alonso back. And what the hell is Steve Cohen thinking?
He spent way too much money on people he shouldn't have.
Exactly. Yeah. I
He's
mean,
probably
look at
regretting
that
it.
contract for Juan Soto. I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know
But
why.
Alonso's been the face of that franchise for I don't know how many years, but in the letting him go is just bonkers. And they deserve every bad thing that has happened to them and ever will happen to them.
Yeah, but I do want to bring this up because apparently this was a very highlighted undrafted free agent signing was long snapper Rocco Underwood.
Yeah, I really have faith that he's going to really turn the franchise around. You know, and it's such a high value position as a long snapper. No, but for real, Jake Elliott sucked last year. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He was not great, and we chose not to change out the kicker, which I think was a mistake. If we want to talk about things we could do after June 1st, I would love to see. Thank you for your service, Jake Elliott. See you later. But that's obviously not going to happen. He's too integral to the organization at this point. But yeah, well, if we're not going to change the kicker, change the long snapper. That's part of the equation. And if we're going to blame someone who's not Jake Elliott, we can always blame the long snapper. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, you can
But I'm
blame the punter
hoping.
on that.
Uh,
Blame the holder.
yeah, you can blame anybody. But they're gonna blame anybody but Jake because Jake has a lot of cachet in Philadelphia, and he's done great things for the organization. I mean, he's been a part of our only 2 Super Bowls, and yeah, I don't foresee us ever getting rid of him just because of that. There's so much loyalty there, so we got to change something up.
Yeah, well, I'm just shocked they didn't even bring in a kicker just for camp. Like not
I
even a
would
little
have. I mean,
competition.
what's the harm? And
Yeah,
after the season, Jake, the last couple of seasons, I mean, it's obvious that he doesn't have the leg that he used to. So it would have been worth exploring. And the worst that happens is that you just keep with Jake. But I don't get paid to make those decisions. And Howie, I trust. And if you fuck this up, Howie, I'm not going to be happy.
all right, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by Brady to talk some Ravens football and news baseball right around the corner. So stick around and we'll be back with some more bad takes.
Tired of financial uncertainty? Ready to take control of your business's bottom line? Our professional bookkeeping and financial services at the More You Know Business Services are delivered by a dual expert team, a CPA and financial strategist, plus a bookkeeper and data analyst. So you get clarity, accuracy, and peace of mind every single month. Ready to thrive? Visit our website to learn more at themoreyouKnowBusiness.com.
All right, Brady's joining us again. We're going to start by highlighting the Ravens draft so far. Well, first off, I mean, how do you think they did with the draft?
I mean, first, like I think the first 2 picks, I think they knocked it out of the park. I really like the guard pick in the round 1. I know like a lot of people were saying like, oh, they're like, because of I think the Rams drafted a quarterback and nobody expected that there were a couple people that fell to the Ravens and they're like, you could have gotten this guy. For me, drafting a guy like Vega, Yeah, it's like it is like the safer choice, but it's also like I think this is the guy who can impact the offensive line day one, and this is a guy who's immediately gonna make your offensive line better, and he's gonna protect Lamar. So I'm perfectly fine with getting this guy. He might not have the flashiest career, but he is gonna be the guy who's gonna protect your quarterback. So this is, maybe like 10, 10, 12 years down the road, we could look back on this pick and be like, damn, this was, a defining pick for the Ravens, that helped really tighten up that offensive line for the foreseeable future. So I really like the first round pick. Second round pick, the edge rusher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I think he was a really good, solid choice. Um, I like anything to get us more sacks because we've been lacking in the sack department for a while. On the Ravens, so I think that we need to get back to that mindset, and I think we're gonna have a really strong defense, and I think Scott's gonna help a lot. Especially, it doesn't hurt that he's gonna have Hendricks, right there with him. So he can learn from one of the best in the league. So that's gonna be great.
Yeah. I mean that first round pick. I mean, it's nothing flashy, but at the same time, this dude has potential to be like Yanda and just be an
Right.
anchor on that offensive line for over a decade. And I mean, Yanda's going to be in the Hall of Fame eventually. He's a Hall of Fame guard. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping him and Suggs get in in the
Yeah.
future.
I Suggs should have been in last year. I
He
mean,
should have been in last. He
yeah.
should have been in the first time. But
Yeah.
now, I the wide receiver picks. I know a lot of people aren't high on them, like where they took them, but I mean, if you look at this, the third round pick Lane, he led the NCAA in touchdowns the prior season, and Surratt led this season in touchdowns. So I mean, these are guys that can catch the ball. Is
Yeah.
what it tells you. They're trustworthy targets for your quarterback. Lane kind of brings that Anquan Bolden esque attitude with him, where it's like you just throw the ball in the air and he's just going to get it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what Bolden did. Bolden said, "You throw it anywhere in my area, I'm just going to grab it. No one else is getting that ball."
Yeah. And like one
Now,
of them, I don't remember which one, but one of them's like a bigger guy, right? He's like,
that's Lane. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
Lane. Like that's I think the Ravens have been missing that uh in a wideout for a while because we had Zay Flowers before that we had Hollywood, and these are like small speedy guys, and that's great. But like having a guy who is just gonna be like a big target down the field that you can just throw the ball up to and like trust that if it's in the vicinity he can get it. That's I think what the Ravens really been missing.
Yeah. So I'm really I like those picks. Now the tight ends is where it gets a little tricky. Do we need tight ends? Yes. Now Hibner is one we actually traded up for, and it seems like he could have been there later in the draft. So I don't know if they were getting wind that another team was going to draft up to get him or not. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, basically we needed to replace Kohler and we needed to
Yeah,
replace Likely. And it seems like we got our catching tight end in Himner and our blocking tight end in Cuevas. So, I mean, that's what we need to replace. So we'll see how
yeah,
that works out. A lot of people were sleeping on Chandler Rivers in the fifth round. I mean, if you look at his tape, he plays. I mean, even though he's like 5'9", 5'10", he plays with some nasty attitude at the quarterback position. So, I mean,
yeah,
if he can bring that with him, that'd be awesome to see. And the running back that, so I don't know if you heard the story about the Clemson
yeah,
running back that was Steve Bisciotti's pick.
yeah, yeah. That's hilarious. I've heard probably a little bit more about this pick than any other pick, just because Steve Bisciotti picked him, which I think is great. But like Steve Bisciotti went all out. Like the research that people are talking about, he hired somebody from SEAL Team 6 to do like a mental like landscape of the draftees, and the guy was like had a whole chart of like players and their like mental landscape of like who was mentally strong, and apparently this guy was one of the top of the charts. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and at Clemson, he was a team guy. Like he moved from wide receiver to running back just to help the team.
yeah,
So
it's gonna be interesting. I really hope he makes it out of training camp, makes the team. I want to see what this kid can do. I want to see where they play him. I think he'll probably wind up being more of a special teams guy, maybe as like a returner,
mhm.
at least to start out with. It's gonna be fun to see what he can do on like the limited shots he gets like early on.
Yeah.
And if everything works out and he forces the issue, and I think next year we give Mike Bisciotti like a 3rd-round pick, maybe. But yeah, it's been a great story, and yeah, um, yeah, I'm happy with the tight end picks too, because the other thing that like I know people like were questioning these picks and especially like trading up, but the Ravens can develop some tight ends. They've been doing it for years. Likely Andrews, uh, Pitta. Like we can go all the way back.
Darren
Uh,
Waller. I mean, we moved him
Aaron
from
Waller.
receiver
Yeah,
to tight end. Like,
yeah. So this is a position that the Ravens do well, historically. So I'm happy that we got some two younger tight ends. We needed a blocking tight end and we needed a backup for Andrews. Um, so yeah, so I think we got our guys there.
we got a punter.
We need the
So,
punter.
yeah, we needed a punter, and
Uh,
then round 7 we got another guard in Ernst. So, I mean, there's definitely some things to like about this draft. Um, I mean, the big thing is when you're looking at it, pretty offensively heavy, and it's one of those things where, I mean, we did get one defensive back, but that's one area where we have seen in the past, if we have one injury in the secondary, it just crumbles.
yeah,
And it's like every season. Like, so I don't know if we could have possibly kind of looked to add a little more there in the draft. I don't know if that was a possibility or not. I mean, I know that first round pick. I mean, when Vega's just sitting there, I mean, you're just picking him. I mean, the dude was. I mean,
yeah,
you look at his tape. He's one of the nastiest linemen.
yeah. And I think everybody like I know there were some Ravens fans who saw like the flashy names and wanted, like, oh, these guys fell to us. Why didn't we take them? But at the
No,
same time, it's like,
they wanted Ruben Bain, but Ruben Bain actually
yeah,
fell further than what a
yeah.
lot of people expected. So that tells you there might be something not.
Yeah, but I think every expert, for what it's worth, because you know how correct experts have always been
Yeah,
on things.
yeah.
But every expert in the draft was saying that Vega was the like the safest pick. He was going to be the guy that like was going to be the immediate impact, and I do think that's what, especially in the offensive line, that's what the Ravens need right now.
Mhm.
And I think the one position I think we missed out on was center. And my understanding is they were looking at a center in like the 3rd or 4th round that got drafted ahead of them. So that's
Mhm.
why we didn't get the center. And I'm glad they didn't reach after that. I'm glad they didn't panic and try to go after like the next best thing. They just stuck with their plan, which is what, that's what DaCosta is good at. That's why everybody wants to draft like the Ravens, draft like the Eagles, because they stick with their plan and they don't reach. They go for the best available. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff to address. The secondary, like you said, you need to shore that up, and then um, we need a center. You know, um, so we'll see. I have a feeling that we're gonna see some signings here in like come June 1st.
Well, we got Campbell. We got Calais Campbell back. So I
We
mean,
got Calais
that was
Campbell.
definitely a big. That's definitely one of the big signings. I love that signing so
Yeah.
much.
And he might not like he's turning 40, or if he hasn't turned 40 already. And he might not be on the field as much as he was the first go around with the Ravens. But just his presence on the field is gonna make this team better.
Well,
He's
just
the
being on the line, he clogs
yeah,
up the line. Like that's what we
yeah,
need. We've been missing that.
yeah. But I'm just saying, just as a leader on and off the field, this guy's gonna be,
Yeah.
he's gonna be like the mentor. He's gonna be like the Ray Lewis. Probably not as passionate as Ray Lewis, um, but he's gonna be like, he's gonna be that like that strong voice for the defense that I don't know if we've had. I mean, I know we've got
Roquan's had it,
yeah,
but here's the thing with Roquan. I mean, you can see him motivate that linebacking group like no
right,
one's business. Kyle Hamilton's kind of your quiet leader in that secondary. When back
right,
in the day, it was like, I mean, you look back in the day, you had Nada, Suggs, Lewis, Reed. I
yeah,
mean, you can't get any more better than those four voices being on your defense and actually helping each level. We really haven't had each level of help. We just had Roquan kind of directing
yeah,
traffic. Hamilton's been good in the secondary, but we've seen if Hamilton goes down, they get lost like
yeah.
nobody's business.
And it was like I think like Roquan, like the one of like the best like defensive year we had was when we had Roquan and Queen, and those two like as a dual like threat, and just with their mentality like hyping people up and being the leaders on the defense. It's another voice for like Roquan to bounce off from. So like it's good to have like a dual, like you're saying, like that Lewis and Reed voices, and Suggs and like all that. Like when you have multiple guys who are going to do that for your team, that's how it's going to get your team stronger.
But yeah, well, I mean, I think it helps now because you got Hendrickson who can help the pass rushing part of it. And now you got Campbell on the D line who can help with clogging up the run game. You got Roquan and Humphrey Hamilton in the back. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good voices to have. So, but I mean, the big thing is you got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
And Hendrickson's had some injury issues, even though I love the signing. I love the stats he brings with him. There's been some injury concerns there past couple seasons. I mean, we saw it happen in Pittsburgh when Hamilton went out. It just all
yeah,
collapsed from there. So I don't have the injury concerns with Hamilton and Humphrey that much, but we've seen that if they get a stinger and they're out for half the game, it hurts. So
yeah,
yeah, it would just be nice to have just an extra, even if it's just a depth piece, but it's a veteran depth piece, like when we had Marcus Peters was loud. He was extremely loud.
yeah,
And I mean, when we first got him, he did great.
yeah,
After that, it was, but I mean, it's still a nice voice to have to hold people
yeah.
accountable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Marcus Peters going in there, and like when we first got him, he was lights out, and then he kind of lost his step, and then I think once he lost that step, I think his voice did become a little toxic for the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, definitely, I think come June 1st, ADC is gonna do his magic, and we're gonna have some veteran presences, um, especially on the secondary, and then also we'll probably that's where we'll probably see like a center pickup, probably a few other depth pieces for the O line. Yeah, but like you said, I think it really for this Ravens team all comes down to health, and it's like I just think we lost. There's no sugarcoating it. We lost a ton of people in free agency, but that doesn't mean that this team isn't talented. We had a really talented roster last year that just didn't capitalize and lost its step early on. But there are still Lamar is still in the backfield, or Lamar's still in the under center, so he's gonna be if he's there, then we're gonna have a shot. That's how I always see it. It's like if Lamar's there, we have a shot. So
Yeah. I mean, because, I mean, you look at this, we only re signed three people that were ours. Like, we
yeah,
re signed a Woozier, depth piece, nice depth piece. We re signed Nick Moore, one of the best long snappers in the game. Awesome. We re signed John Jenkins at nose tackle. But, I mean, we did pick up John Simpson, a guard, coming back. So, I mean, the interior of that line, minus the center right now, is actually really good. I mean, John Simpson's a solid guard, and Vega's going to come in and do some dirty stuff, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the inside. I don't mind the tackles. I mean, Ronnie Stanley is not what he once was. Still a solid left tackle in the league, though.
Yeah.
I mean, any team would love to have Ronnie Stanley. And Rosengarten was not terrible. I think he looked terrible just because of what else is on the interior of that line.
Yeah.
And I mean, it exposed him. But now that I think you got the strength now on the inside, I don't think he's going to be exposed as much. Like, I
Yeah.
think he's still a solid piece. And then, I mean, we got Jalen Hawkins at safety, so that's a nice depth piece too, and Hendrickson. And we also added Smythe at tight end, but he's more of a pass blocking tight end.
Mhm.
So I mean, that was definitely to replace Kohler more than anything, I think, for the pass blocking piece. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, we did sign Danny Pinter as a center in free agency, but I mean, doesn't have a ton of starts or games under his belt in 6 years. So we'll see.
I mean, yeah. So, like with the Ravens, I mean, I think next season what we're going to see is we're going to see a really strong defense. You know, we have a defensive-minded head coach. We have a nice defensive coordinator, and then Jesse Pinter's already said that he's going to be calling the defensive plays. So that's, you know, that's going to be it. So I think we are going to have a solid, rock solid. I think we can get back to, if we can just get back to, you know, that philosophy of what we had under McDonald or McDaniel, whatever his last name is.
McDonald.
McDonald. Okay, there's too many Nick. Yeah. No, if we can get back to that philosophy and back to that, you know, the way those guys were, which I think Jesse Minster has a very similar mindset and a very similar approach to the defense from what I've seen. So that is going to help out, you know, when you can keep the other team off the field, it's going to help Lamar, you know, cook. Because I think the key to the Ravens game in the last few years has been the dominating of the time of possession. You know, it's been the keeping Lamar on the field and keeping the other team offense off the field. So that starts with the defense and those 3 and outs and not giving up the big plays. So let's get back to that. And then on the offensive side, it all comes down to how, I don't know, you know, because we do have a new OC and it's going to be his first year, like, you know, calling the schemes and whatnot. So I have high hopes, but I think I wouldn't be surprised to see the defensive get off to a strong start and then offensive get off to a slow start. But yeah, so as long as we shored up some protection for the offensive line, which is good. We didn't re-sign Paul Lele, which is also good. Let's not forget the moves that we didn't make.
I can't believe Harbaugh took him back.
I know. Hey, he's a man of his word, okay?
He's loyal. He's loyal to a fault.
He's a loyal man. Yeah. But yeah, so
it's just crazy.
And we're looking good. I think in terms of our division rivals, I think we had the best draft out of our North. So seems like Pittsburgh might have panicked there in the first inning. Or the first inning. No, the first round. You know, they didn't get their guy. It was kind of embarrassing. Did you hear that story?
Oh yeah, that yep, because they were on the phone with the receiver, and
yeah, they were on the phone.
Philly swooped in with a trade and out of nowhere, and everybody was freaking out.
Yeah, I think I was listening to the Ryan Ripken show, and I think he said it best. The way you prevent these embarrassments is quite simple. Wait till your turn to call the play. You know, let's why are we on the phone when it's not your fucking turn? But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I do think the Ravens. We had a better draft than the rest of our division. That's nice to see. But yeah, I like where we're at. I think we're in a good spot. I still think there are some holes, and it's going to come down to if we can stay healthy
Yeah.
and what this new coaching squad brings. So
Well, let's talk post-draft signings. I mean, the big one is Pavia out of Vanderbilt. We signed him as an undrafted free agent for 3 years. It's very, very interesting signing,
yeah,
I would
I mean
say.
they're going to take a look. It's a 3-year deal. I don't even think there's any guarantees. I don't know if there was any like signing bonus to it or not. It's
No,
basically just
it's just an undrafted free agent deal, basically.
yeah,
Now, if he makes the squad, it's a 3-year deal type thing, I
right.
think is what it is. Um, yeah, it's I don't know. The only reason, I mean, he put up some numbers at Vandy. I mean, I'm not going to take that away from him. Like, he's put up numbers in his college career, but there's definitely a giant attitude issue. There's a difference between cocky and backing it up
Mhm.
and Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
Like, there's a huge difference when it comes to that because college is way different than the pros, and Johnny Manziel got that wake up call. This ain't Texas
yeah.
A&M anymore. This is the NFL.
I mean, to be clear, Johnny Manziel, he might have gotten the wake up call, but he didn't pick it up until he was already out of the league. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I mean,
and I don't think the Ravens. I think what separates the Ravens from like a lot of other teams is they don't uh they don't really they don't really deal with the attitude problem. Like
yeah.
if the player has
Um,
an attitude problem, he doesn't tend to be a Raven for too long.
oh, yeah, I mean, we cut Earl Thomas
Yeah,
when he
we cut Earl Thomas. Um,
Marcus Peters, like,
yeah, Marcus Peters didn't. He was gone pretty quick, and then I mean, even like not that I don't think Hollywood Brown had an attitude problem, but he definitely was like,
he thought he
yeah,
was a big time
yeah,
receiver, and he was mad that we were running the ball a lot, which was
yeah,
working, and we weren't passing to him all the time. So
yeah. So it's like, and Nick, he wasn't quiet about it. He said some things that I'm sure the front office didn't appreciate, and so next year, what happens? He's trade piece for
we got a first round pick for him. That was shocking.
yeah, yeah, definitely won that trade.
Yeah. Well, for a little bit, and then somebody left to the Raiders. So,
Yeah. Oh well, we
oh
move on.
well. No, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, like, I would have loved this signing. I think back in the Ray Lewis days, because when you hear about those practices back then, how the defense just would knock your block off even in practice. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
Ray Lewis would have been licking his chops with this guy.
yeah. No, I mean it's definitely like hey, let's see where if the talent's there, and also we need arms for training camp anyway.
Yeah,
So
and
you
also
know,
it's a trade piece,
yeah, and
maybe.
a trade
Yeah,
piece. So yeah, I don't really expect him to make the team. To be honest with you, like,
yeah,
but it's always nice. If the talent's there, it's always nice to have options. And maybe someone will surprise you. So
yeah. Now we also signed Ladarius Webb Jr., which I love. I mean, I thought Ladarius Webb was an awesome Raven,
uh,
and I don't mind signing his son. I mean, his son had 11 interceptions, 25 passes defended, 134 tackles in his college career. So I
yeah,
mean, 50 games, I'll take it. Give him a shot. Um, we also signed the center from Penn State. So I mean, that's someone that could possibly compete. I mean, there's a lot of people that said a lot of good things about him. They said he's a I mean, he was highly academic person, and he
Yeah.
was a high character person on the field. I mean, it's good stuff to have, good characteristics to have. So I mean, if he is able to play hard and earn a spot, I mean, who knows? He could be our center too. And I mean, being with Vega on the line, both from Penn State, they could play well together.
Yeah, I mean, my thing about all these all the undrafted signings is that the Ravens and EDC, in specifically, are really good at identifying talent and finding talent where other teams might be sleeping on them or just not noticing in general. Um, so when it comes to the undrafted, is everybody gonna make it? No. Is everybody gonna are they expecting some of their signings to even make it? No, but they see something in some people and they give them a shot because you never know what's going to come out, you know, when
Well,
you get them in that
we usually keep
setting.
1 to 2. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, for the longest
last
time,
year,
we had a streak of we always kept 1 undrafted free agent sign.
yeah,
It was
I think
mostly
last
a
year we got
special
three.
team.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we ended that streak a couple years ago, I think. But we always, I mean, and a lot of these guys too will be on the practice squad, and then eventually, the following
yeah,
season, they show up on the team. So, I mean, there's some guys. I think. I mean, we also signed Octavian Smith Jr. out of Maryland. He was pretty decent. I will say Maryland was terrible after the first 4 games, so there wasn't a lot to flash. But in those 4 games when we were putting up points, he looked like a solid piece. So I mean, I wouldn't. I can definitely see 2 of these guys breaking camp with the team and being special teamers.
right.
To start out, just to have their roster spot, and then kind of go from there. We also signed Dante McMillan out of Eastern Michigan, who is also a kick and punt returner as well as a running back. So he can compete for some special teams
Yeah,
action as well. So there's definitely some guys. But I mean, I'm hoping next month, what you said, EDC gets cooking on some signings to
yeah,
some veteran signings because we definitely need it.
yeah, and I think that's always you always see it happen. Ravens don't always get the big flashy signing. I mean, we got Derrick Henry a few years ago, and now this year we got Hendricks. But that's it's not an every year thing for the Ravens to go out in free agency and go get that big signing. But I always think come this second half of the off season, that's I think where the Ravens get their money's worth as they find all these depth pieces and veterans that they can plug in.
Yeah. And I mean, I think what really crushed us was I think we thought we had Linderbaum locked up, and we were trying to save money for Linderbaum.
Mm-hmm.
And once that fell through, I think we lost out on other guys we could have kept that were our own because we were so focused on Linderbaum and keeping Linderbaum that we really pushed away a lot of other potential guys that we could bring back just because Linderbaum was going to lock in some money.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the two signings that the two free agent that the two free agents that left that hurt us the most was Linderbaum and then the fullback, what's his name?
No, Pat Ricard, Pancake Pat.
Paracard. Thank you,
Yep.
Paracard. So there's no sugarcoating it. That those two not on the team anymore, it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna be. I mean, I think it's impossible to replace someone like Pat Ricard and what he does for your run game, and for blocking. And then Linderbaum too. It's Linderbaum's not somebody who his caliber of player is not someone who comes around every year. and it's going to be hard to replace him as well. So, I don't know if we'll get, maybe in next year's draft they'll find someone that's a position they'll focus on, and they'll find someone like that. I don't know if we'll necessarily get that this year, or maybe EDC has a big trade coming.
Yeah.
The Ravens,
And
to have in the past, they have been willing to trade pieces, trade draft picks to get that missing piece. That's how we got Roquan Smith. That's how
Marcus
we got
Peters.
Marcus Peters. So, yeah, the Ravens are definitely aggressive in that aspect of it. If they see the missing piece, then they go and plug it. But yeah, I just don't expect to see. I think that'll be a weakness. Like I think we'll notice their loss on the squad this season, especially. Because it is just hard to replace, especially like with a first year. Even if you draft like a really good player, they're still rookies. They still need time to adjust to the speed of the game and whatnot. So you're not going to see that. You're going to feel their loss, for at least the season.
Yeah. Now, I will say there's one undrafted free agent I was very upset we didn't sign. Roman Hemby, running back out of Indiana. Played at Maryland before. This dude has potential to be something in the NFL. I mean, I don't know how much you've watched college football in the past.
Not very much.
Yeah. I don't watch it religiously, but on a Saturday, if I got nothing to do and Maryland's on, I'll turn on the game. When I saw him at Maryland, this dude just is nonstop, just runs it straight up the gut and just churns out 5+ yards every time. I remember I was watching this game where we almost beat Michigan. It would have been like 2023, something like that. We lost by a score. And for some reason, Mike Loxley just needs to be fired. He just needs to be fired. Like, seriously. He doesn't. It just feels inept when it comes to like how to finish off a game. Like, Hemby's sitting there pounding the ball. Michigan can't stop him. And for some reason, we want to pass it. It's just like, just give the ball to Hemby. He's killing them.
Yeah.
And like in Indiana, he split time, but he still was churning out 5+ yards. So, I think it would have been a nice running back to have in camp and to see what he's got just to add to the competition.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me, because Derrick Henry's not going to be Derrick Henry forever, Then you want to look for pieces of the future. Yeah, knock on wood. We still need to look, because Derrick Henry's in his 30s. He's not going to age backwards. So
yeah,
it's just nice to look at depth pieces. So I don't know. I thought that would have been a nice depth piece. So.
Yeah, I definitely think there needs to be in the near future, there needs to be a draft for a running back, like a focus for a running back. Because I don't think Derrick's got 2 more seasons with us. I believe he signed a 3-year extension last year, if I'm not mistaken.
2-year.
2-year, yeah. So he's got, I think, this year and next year with us. But I think he's like 32, 33. So
yeah.
And that's, he does seem to, his conditioning is probably unmatched by anybody else in the league. So that's good. And he hasn't lost a step. And hopefully, Jesse Minster plays him in the fourth quarter.
Just give Derrick Henry the ball. That's all we need, man. Just feed Henry the ball.
What was his rushing yards last year? And just think of the amount of times we didn't use him, because he still had over 1,000 yards, I believe. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, think of we could have used him way more last year, and yet his numbers were still as good as they were.
I mean, he had 1,595 rushing yards.
Yeah. I mean,
5.2 yards per carry. Seriously,
I'll,
give the
I'll tell you
dude
this.
the ball.
He had, what, 1,500 yards? Easily could have had 300 to 500 more yards last season.
Well, I mean, I think he had 2 games where he was over 200.
Yeah. And
It's
yeah. And I mean, like, obviously, I think every Ravens fan right now listening to this is going to think about the New England game where he
no,
just
yeah.
didn't appear for half the game for some reason. And it's like,
Well, there's 2 games I think about with Henry last year. First one's the Bills game where he fumbled.
yeah,
And he had the yips early on, and then that Patriots game where he was crushing the Patriots, and they were
I
just like, just go sit there.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is I don't want to say record breaking season for him because of the records that he had early in his career, but I feel a Derrick Henry revenge tour coming, and I know it's funny to say because he did have a good season last year, but he
16
did.
touchdowns, 1595 rushing
Yeah,
yards. Yeah, if it's a revenge season, the league better be
yeah,
scared.
yeah. No, it's just I feel like a competitor like Henry, even though those numbers were good, and even though like he's still one of the best in the leagues, I feel like last season left a bad taste in his mouth, especially because I think he had 5 fumbles last season. And
Mm.
I think he wore some of those losses, especially the loss to the Bills, on his shoulders. He took full
Yeah.
responsibility for like 2 losses when I mean, obviously I don't think they were his fault entirely. But like, so this to me is like that to me is gonna light a fire, I feel like. So I think this is gonna be a statement year for Henry for sure. Which again seems funny to say because it's Derrick Henry. Every season is a statement for him.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get some more answers in the next month about the Ravens. So we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk some it was baseball, and I know Brady's got a rant, so so let's see how that goes. All right, we'll be back in a sec. Hey everyone, I just wanted to give a little plug to share an awesome way to give back to those who serve our country. There's a program called Cards for Military Kids where your sports cards you have sitting around from the junk wax era or the new junk wax era we are currently in, thanks Fanatics, can be donated to students who attend schools in and around military bases. It is a great way to give back to those who serve by putting a smile on the faces of their loved ones. For details on how to donate or help with this program, please feel free to reach out to us here on the podcast or search up Cards for Military Kids on Facebook. Now, back to more bad takes on the Mid Atlantic Bad Takes podcast. And we're back with Brady. We're going to talk some O's baseball. All right, man, you got some feelings. So how we feeling?
Okay, all right. Get ready for the namesake of your podcast here. Like you might hear some bad takes. Maybe you'll agree with all of them. Maybe you won't. I don't know. But let's face it. The start of the season has been frustrating to say the least. It has been, I don't want to say as bad as last year, as bad as it started last year, because I don't think it has been. I think the Orioles are in a better place, but at the same time, we're at a grace period. It's May 5th, and we're sitting 5 games below 500 right now. And it just seems like we can talk about the offense never coming alive or only showing up certain games. We can talk about the pitching, not getting out of the 5th inning and, not living up to their potential, or the injuries or the hiccups that the bullpens had. And most importantly, we can talk about the defense that has been atrocious. But ultimately, like, the inconsistency of this team is the most frustrating thing. And it all, for me, it starts and stops with I need an everyday line. It's May 5th. It was one thing in March and then April, especially in the beginning of April, when you wanted to get guys more reps and you wanted to give guys a little break. But it's May 5th. Okay. I need an everyday lineup. I need 1 to 7 guys who I know are gonna be in the lineup. You want to give guy an off day or whatever now and again. You want to rest Adley and Basayo because they're playing a more taxing position. Fine. But 7 out of 10 days, I want my lineup to be 1 through 7. These are the guys that are playing. How do you expect Colton Cowser or Mayo to ever get out of their funks or to ever find their swing if they're sitting? Like Colton Cowser was looking good, and then he sat the next 3 games. It's honestly, at this point in the season, it's driving me crazy. I don't know if it's Albie or if it's Elias coming up with the lineups or if they're just printing it out of a computer. I don't know. But what I can tell you is this is not the recipe for a winning team, And honestly, here's a bad take for you. I think the Orioles have a Lodi Tavares problem, right? Because he's been good at center field. He has. But like, do you believe in Colton Cowser or not? Do you believe in the young core you built or do you not? Because this team, it just feels like there's no heart left in this team. And it just feels like, you built this young core, you piped them up, and I believe the talent's there. I think everybody believes the talent's there. But then it's like they're on the bench, It's where's Colton Cowser? I only see Colton Cowser like 1 game a series now, and it's like he's never gonna hit for you if you don't let him hit. I'm like, let him go out there and prove himself. Give him those extended times. Same thing with Mayo. Mayo, you probably had an opportunity to trade Mayo in the offseason. You didn't. Now he's your third baseman. But I see Alexander out there like every other day. And, Mayo's never going to learn to be a big league hitter if he's not hitting in the big leagues consistently. So this is where I'm at, is just the frustration of constant changing of the lineup, constant changing of positions. There's 2 players on this team I think can play 4 or 5 positions. Blaze Alexander and Jeremiah Jackson. And it's like those 2, great defensively. You can plug them in anywhere, and I think they'll play a serviceable position. Everyone else has their position, and I don't think it's fair to them, and I don't think it's going to work out, especially the way our defense has been this season. You can tell that it's not working out. You can't ask these guys to go and play the position they're not comfortable with. Everybody can't be a utility guy. You can't just plug them in somewhere. I mean, they put like Wilson in left field and he had never played left field before. And we saw how that happened. I probably wasn't the full reason we lost that game, but that 3-run triple that he gave up is definitely one of them. Yeah, so this is where I'm at, and I don't think you can blame it all on Elias. I think the players have to take a certain amount of responsibility. I mean, Gunnar Henderson has looked like a 2-dimensional player. And I just where was Gunnar Henderson in 2023 when he hit 11 triples, 30 doubles, and stole a bunch of bases? Where was the guy who ran in the face of the Tampa Bay's left fielder to bust out a triple? When he caught the guy sleeping and he said, "Oh, that's another 90 feet." Now Gunnar looks like it's either a home run or bust. And I don't want Gunnar Henderson to be the shortstop equivalent of the DH for the Phillies. What's his name?
Schwarber.
Schwarber, yeah. I don't want Gunnar Henderson to be the shortstop equivalent of Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's an amazing bat. He can hit 50 home runs for you. He hit 60 last year. But I want Gunnar to be that 5-tool player. I want Gunnar to be the menace on the bases. I want Gunnar to be hitting the doubles, to be hitting the ball the other way, to not be doing too much. It just seems like for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a offensive philosophy of the team that needs to change or what, but like you saw it yesterday. Two people got on base and then nobody out. You had a man on second, man on first, nobody out, double play. Happened 3 times. Man on second, man on first, nobody out, double play. Because you get people on, and then you get to the top of the order, or you get to like the one big bat, and then everybody's swinging for the fences. Everybody's looking for the knockout. Just put the ball in play. What did the Yankees do? They had a man on third, sac fly. They tacked on a run. The Orioles had 10 hits yesterday and 1 run. The Yankees had 10 hits yesterday and 12 runs. It's not rocket science. They didn't. I think Judge hit a home run that should have been a strikeout if Adley had challenged, but he didn't. And I understand it was the first inning. You don't want to blow a challenge. I would have, because it is Aaron Judge, and you got to take. You can't give that guy an inch, or you see what happens. But no, they didn't knock the cover off the ball. During this game, they just hit. They just took what the Orioles pitching gave them. And that's not what we're doing. We're hunting the mistake. We're hunting the knockout punch. Just get on base, guys. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I want to know your thoughts. Yeah, what you agree with. Again, I don't we can point fingers at Mike Elias at the end of the day, though. This team is not performing, and it's not like the talent's not there, right? The talent's there. It's this philosophy or whatever it is about, wanting to plug guys in different positions and wanting to play the matchup day in and day out. No, give me a solid everyday lineup. Every team, it just seems like every good team you play has the everyday lineup. I see the same people in there with maybe 1 or 2 tweaks for every game of the series, and yet every game of the series for the Orioles looks different. Besides from my 1, 2, 3, it looks different.
All right. There's a lot to break down there. I mean, if we trade for Javi Baez, he's gonna fit right in. So you never know. You never know. Now, my thoughts. I put the blame on Elias.
Mhm.
Now, the reason I do this, Elias is in charge of building the roster for the big league team. Albie just has to use the tools he's given. Now, with the Albie thing, I think Albie right now is too involved with analytics, and he just needs to take a step back and start going with his gut a little more and just saying, these are the guys I trust. These are the guys I'm putting out there. He just needs to put his foot down and say, that's what we're doing. Just pick you guys. It's what Buck Showalter did. These are my consistent guys. You can throw out the ugly Sunday lineup. I don't care about the ugly Sunday lineup, but Monday through Saturday, who are the guys you're putting out there on a consistent basis that are performing and are going to continue to perform for us? Pick them, let them play every day. And then from there, you can decide, let's send this guy down to AAA. Kaiser, Mayo, doesn't matter. They're not going to get him any at-bats. Send him down to AAA, let them get their at-bats. On the Elias front, Elias knows how to build a pipeline. Now, once the person's out of the pipeline, it's hit or miss. You never know. You don't know if these top prospects are going to pan out. I agree on the front where if you don't give them playing time, you're never going to know. I mean, that's been our most consistent problem since we started calling up prospects, not Adley, not Gunnar. It's Stowers. I mean, you saw the whole Stowers situation. He got 1 game a week in right field. Yeah. Look at him in Miami. Westberg's just hurt. I mean, it was the same thing with Ortiz, We called him up because he was. I mean, he wasn't a minor leaguer anymore. He was crushing AAA. We call him up. He gets 1 game a week. Now we traded Ortiz in the Burns deal.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's always our issue is we call all these guys up. They don't get any consistent playing time. Their stock is devalued. And at some point, someone else needs to take over building the major league team. Elias can focus on the draft aspect, on the minor league piece, development piece from the Dominican all the way up through AAA. That's what Elias is good at. He's good at signing the international free agents. He's good at drafting. He is terrible when it comes to building a major league roster. Someone else needs to be at the forefront and saying, okay, these guys are ready for the big leagues. We do not have enough space for them here. How can we turn their value into something beneficial for our major league roster? That's always been my take on it, because when you're wasting away years of just sitting on the bench, there's no value anymore.
Yeah.
So like what can we trade Cowser and Mayo for at this point? Unless it's a really hungry young team like the White Sox, possibly the Rockies, that might take a jump at them. What value do they have? And you've seen the patchwork we have now with the bullpen and the starting rotation. Elias neglects every single year to build out the depth. It doesn't have to be. I don't need a Dodgers rotation or a Red Sox signing and trading for all these ace pitchers. We need depth of 10 guys in the starting rotation. Now, honestly, at this point, I don't even care if it's like the 2014 Orioles rotation with Wendy and Chen, Miguel Gonzalez, Chris Tillman. They're solid, right? They were solid. You know what
Like
you're going to get.
my thing here is like I feel I know I have yet to be proven right. I still believe that this rotation is better than what they feel. I still believe that some of these guys, we saw Chris Bassett had a really good game, and I feel like this is like we're gonna see that more often than not going forward. I think Boz is getting there. I think especially if you look at yesterday, he take away the Judge home run, if Adley had challenged that ball, which was like dead in in the strike zone, it was there. I think everybody, like, you kind of see like everybody's reaction to that ball, and especially like when like the announcers are like, "Oh, should have been a strike," like right away, and they don't even have the box on their screens anymore because they're MLB's afraid of like people trying to
Teams live
abuse the
watching it
system.
and telling them.
Yeah. So they don't even have the box anymore. And when your announcers are like, "Oh, that's probably a strike," and then so Adley, you got to trust your gut there, and especially with Judge, you can't give him an inch. So obviously, 2-strike pitch, it's there. Just fucking tap your helmet. But that's beside the point. I understand it was the first inning, but you take that 2-home run away. Boss throws 5.2 innings of 1-run baseball, and then he has some trouble getting out of the fifth. So Boss did, he had traffic, he worked around it. Boss pitched pretty well yesterday. Um, it is like I would like to see him get through that 6th inning. And maybe he does it. There's less runs on the field. Maybe he's less flustered giving up a run in the fifth inning if the scoreboard's a little closer. But Boz to me, like everybody's criticizing his signing now because of like his slow start. I still think it was a great signing, especially for the value, and I think he's going to be a great pitcher for us. Bradish, I think he's going to be a little slower coming along because this is the first year in like 2 or 3 years that he pitched in April, you know, and he's still coming along. And I still think we haven't seen the best of Bradish. Obviously, Dean Kramer comes back. He looked really good in his first couple starts. And, I have no problem. Obviously, he's been our most consistent pitcher. So when Dean Kramer comes back, um, we'll see more. Now, the younger guys that we pitched, our rookie that we just called up, Gibson, great game. Great. Especially, it's a tough ask to go into New York and pitch against that Yankees lineup with Aaron Judge your first game. But he did everything and more for us. I have high hopes for him. That was a good first game. And we have not seen an Orioles rookie pitcher who have a really good first game. So yeah, the rotation to me is good. And I understand what you're saying. Building up, I would have liked some more depth pieces. I would have liked that trade that you've talked about several times now. The Peralta trade was there. Would have liked to see it. We didn't get it. I can live with that. To me, though, it's, do you believe in your young core or you do not? You built the young core. You have it. So why then am I seeing Tavares out there every day? And I know he's playing well. I know he's been hitting well. But do I believe that Tavares, if I look back on his career, do I believe that he is going to be that consistent at bat, that consistent bat in the lineup that's going to deliver? Probably not. Let's be honest here. Probably not. He's probably going to cool off. So why? Like, it's just, to me, it's like this guy is taking away from the spot from a guy who's actually going to impact the team in the long run. We should be building our lineup around the guys that we think will give us the most success day in and day out. And I know Jeremiah Jackson has earned a spot, especially with an injury to Holiday. Jeremiah Jackson, second base, every day. Fine with that. Blaze Alexander, to me, can be a defensive replacement in later innings, and he can be, you want to give Mayo a DH day, you want to give Mayo, or you want to give Alonso a DH day and have Mayo play first, fine. That's fine. But Blaze Alexander is a utility glove. He's not
That's what
an
he's been
on-base
his whole
guy.
career. That's what he's been his whole
career. So let's stop playing him all the fucking time. I know it'll be there. There are going to be some frustrating games coming up when you see, especially Mayo and Cowser might, fly out hard all the time or ground out hard. But these guys are never going to find their big league at bat. They're never going to hit the off speed pitch if you don't give them consistent at bats. They're doing nobody favors sitting on the bench. They have graduated from AAA. Put Mayo in AAA right now, he hits 500. Put Cowser in AAA right now, he might hit a little bit less because off speed, he still has to get used to the off speed pitches. But the off speed pitches in AAA aren't that good. Everybody knows the biggest gap in this sports is the pitching between AAA and the big leagues. The only place that these two are going to get better, the only place that these two are going to bring value to this team are on the field. That's why you drafted them. That's why you developed them. That's why you ultimately called them up to the big leagues. Now, I don't know why we have so many damn outfielders. Because Beavers is another one. Beavers is actually playing good, but he's not getting any playing time.
So the reason we drafted so many position guys is because Mikey Elias brought that Astros philosophy of you draft position players, develop them, and trade them. You know what he's forgetting to do? Trade them.
Right. It's just the other thing. It's just like we have Ward. Ward's been great. I don't think he's a good left fielder. I would like somebody else in left field, but Ward's been great. I think Ward maybe put him in right field. I don't know if he's comfortable in right field. I know we just
in
talked
Camden
about
Yards. In Camden Yards, I put him in right field. There's not a lot of ground to cover, and it's not a lot of pressure out there because you got the wall behind you to play off of.
Right. Yeah, I would put Ward in right field. At least in Camden Yards. you know, O'Neal, I mean, even O'Neal, who we're paying a fuck ton of money, is not getting playing time right now. He's almost become a platoon piece with Beavers. And I just like, this is the thing with me and like O'Neal. It's like, this is why I hated that signing, because you're just clogging. If you're not going to trade these guys, you should play them. And now you're clogging them because you signed
Well,
O'Neal.
and now your DH is clogged between Adley and Samuel because they're both. I mean, Samuel's coming on now,
And here's the
so now
thing,
you
though.
want their bats in the lineup.
But here's the thing, though. I don't view that as a clog. I view that as these are their two most important at-bats in our lineup are Samuel Basayo and Adley Rutschman. And I know it sounds strange to say with Pete Alonso and Gunnar Henderson also in your lineup, but these two at-bats, and you can put Westberg in there when he's healthy, they are like a glue to your lineup. These guys, you see what Samuel can do, and you see him coming along. And that's why I'm like, Samuel Basayo, DH when he's not catching. Adley, DH when he's not catching. Adley catches more games than Samuel Basayo right now. But those two, their at-bats are great. Especially his approach, Sam's approach right now, he covers the whole field. He covers the whole bag. You can see his two-strike approach is great. He's extending the at-bat. He's holding off on pitches, and he's plucking them. He's taking what the pitcher gives them, and he just plucks them into the outfield. It's wonderful. And it's the same thing with Adley. And then guess what? Pitcher makes a mistake, and next thing you know, that ball is 500 feet in the air. And that's, to me, like, those two, it is a more strenuous position, catching than most. So they're going to probably want to give them a full day off, like every 10th day or whatnot. And I get that. And then you take them out of the lineup. But I still want to see those two in the lineup at least 7 to 8 times out of 10 games.
Yeah. And
Especially if Pete Alonso is committed to playing 162, which I love.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and
what the thing with Pete Alonso is too, you can DH him if you need to. If you really need to get someone in that lineup, like, then you don't want to DH Mayo.
Yeah.
You can put Mayo at first and let Pete DH if you really want to.
But I mean, like, the other thing is Pete Alonso's defense has been better than advertised.
It's
very,
very underrated defender.
Yeah.
I never understood why people trashed him for defense. He's a very solid defender.
Yeah. He's you know what it is? It's just the Mets fan base is so toxic that Pete Alonso has some boneheaded plays, which everybody has boneheaded plays, and then they harp on it, and that's what his reputation becomes. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's like, if I look at our lineup, if I look at the lineup that I want to see Ward leading off, Gunnar, Adley, Alonso, and then
Sayo.
Jeremiah Jackson, Basayo. There's no particular order, really. Hold on, I have to count on my fingers because I lost count.
You're at 6. You're at 6.
Ward, Gunnar,
Henderson.
yeah,
Adley.
Ward, Henderson, Adley, Alonso, Basayo, Mayo, Jeremiah Jackson. That's 7. Beavers.
So you're at 8. Yeah. So those are your 8 you want to see in your consistent lineup.
Yeah. Those are like the 8 I want to see in my consistent lineup. And again, like, this is like, you like those Sunday lineups. If you want to put a Jeremiah Jackson, hey, your day is Sunday. That's fine.
I mean, the Sunday lineup is like where you put where you let Blaze Alexander start. You're like, Blaze, go.
Oh yeah, I said Jeremiah
somewhere.
Jackson. I said Jeremiah Jackson. I meant Blaze Alexander. I'm not good with me.
No, you're good. Well, I mean, the point is like, you've said it. I've said it a lot of times too. Like, we got like 6 freaking outfielders on the major league roster. Like, and the problem is guess what, Elias? You're signing them. You traded for Ward. You signed 2 of them in O'Neal and Tavares, and then you got your prospects. Elias doesn't have his mind made up of what he wants to do. Like when these guys first come up and they struggle for that first month, Elias is like, crap, I need to go sign outfielders because he doesn't trust the 1 month of production. That's what he's always done when a lot of these guys that came up.
Yeah. It's just like there has to be philosophical change in, obviously, I think the players have to perform, right? That it all comes down to it, and nobody there is good. But there needs to be a philosophical change in the front office and in the coaching staff. We need to get these guys back to, almost like, like little league play, cause havoc on the bases.
Mhm.
Don't hunt the home run. Just
Well, I don't know if
take
you
what the
heard
pitcher gives you.
I don't know if you heard the Mike Bordick rant yesterday.
I did, yeah, and that
I
was
thought
part of.
he said it perfectly. I mean, it was mostly about Gunnar,
Mhm.
just because he's like Gunner's going up there and taking his 3 swings for a homer, and it's
Yeah.
strikeout or bust, and it's homer or bust. But I mean, Bordick just said it perfectly. He's like, just put the ball in play, take what the pitcher
Yeah.
gives you, go back to just that basic
Yeah.
baseball mentality. The homers will be there. Just literally just put the ball in play and get on the bases.
I mean, it's a small sample size because it is the beginning of the year. But let me just pull up Gunner's stats. Gunner.
Oh, I think he's at like 49 strikeouts right now.
It's just the last time that I saw the Gunner of 2023 was in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
That fire, that guy, he was playing, in the World Baseball Classic. He wasn't playing for a contract. He wasn't playing for a World Series. He was playing for country and pride. And he was probably a little pissed off that they
He wasn't
benched
playing
him.
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love it. But all right.
Everybody else
2020
that sucked was playing every day.
In 2023, Gunner's rookie campaign that won him Rookie of the Year, he hit 143 hits, 29 doubles, 9 triples, 28 home runs, 82 RBIs. Batted 255, struck out 159 times. His OPS was .814. This dude, that dude, if you remember that Gunner, he would run out first base every single time. Now, obviously, Gunner's learned, he doesn't have to do that because, there are plays where he just doesn't have a prayer. That's fine. But do you remember that game against the A's when Gunner he hit a home run, he hit a triple, he hit a double, and all he needed was a single to hit the cycle. And what does he do? He hits a ball right down the right field line, and he takes 2. Because that's the type of player that Gunner is. That's who I want playing. I don't want, I don't want Gunner to be this guy who's going to strike out 200 times, but he's going to hit, 45 to 50 bombs. I want Gunner to be the guy that's going to be the menace on the base, going to steal 20 plus bags, going to hit 20 plus home runs short, but going to be, that guy who's going to hit me that bases clearing double, or going to be that guy that has the 2 RBI single or whatever.
But here's the thing. His 2024 was better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even talk about 2024. I was just going, is 2024, this is the step up that he made in 2024, right? 177 hits off of so he hit, almost 40 more hits than that. He hit 31 doubles, 7 triples, and 37 home runs with 92 RBIs. And he batted 280 with a 8.93 ERA. Or no,
Well, look
ERA.
at his look
OPS.
Yeah, OPS. Look at his walks though. His walks increased. He had the same amount of strikeouts at 159, but he increased his walks by 18, 78 walks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, we don't need 2024 Gunner. I wouldn't mind going back to 2023 or 2025 Gunner though. I mean, their stats are pretty similar. He struck out less than 2025.
Yeah.
And he walked a little more.
And
at that
here's the
same
thing.
rate.
In 2025, he was dealing with some injury issues that he missed a little bit of time for, but he was able to play the season. But like that's like he talked about it in spring training, like his power was down because he was dealing with some strain, and that's fine. But like if you're going to look at Gunner's numbers and tell me that that was a bad season for Gunner, it wasn't. It was a good season. 17 home runs. Sure, we would have liked to see 20 plus from a guy like Gunner, but I'm not. Again, I'm not asking him to be the home run guy of this team. We have that. His name's Pete Alonso, and actually, recently he's looked really good, especially in. He was probably the one bright spot of the Yankees series. Was Pete Alonso. Um, so that was good to see. But you know, these guys, Gunner especially, need to remember that this is not a single team sport, or this is not a single player sport. There are 9 guys behind you when you're on the plate, right? All you got to do is put the ball in play. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Situational hitting, unselfish at bats. That was the phrase of the year in 2023 was unselfish at bats. Because you saw it time and time again. Orioles had a guy on third with less than 2 outs. What'd they do? They hit the ball. They hit the ball they hit a deep fly out to get that sacrifice fly. Or they had a guy on second with no outs. What'd they do? They hit the ball down the right field line, and it was a ground out, but it got the guy to third. These are unselfish at bats that the Orioles need to get back to.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's when this team is not those mid 2010s that can live and die by the home run. The only reason that mid 2010s could live and die by the home run is they hit a lot of them and they hit them with people on base. That's the only reason that team could live and die by home runs. This team is not putting up those home run numbers. So you can't go up there looking for the home run every single at bat just because you're not hitting them. Because you're not hitting them at the rate those teams were. I mean, those teams were popping off 2 to 3 a game. So
and you see like this is why I love I really have been really encouraged with what I've seen from Colton Cowser recently because he's more patient at the plate. You can see he's seeing the ball just a little bit better. Not quite there yet, but he's seeing the ball a little bit better. And you know what? It looks like all he wants is a hit, right? That's his entire approach right now. And that's why I think his last few games that he's played has actually looked really good because all he wants to do is make contact with the ball. He wants to make good contact, and he's not looking for too much. I don't see him overswinging. He's not, doing a full 360 with that bat. He's just looking for that smooth, contact. And that to me is going to produce way more results for him and this team than Gunner going in and taking 3 big hacks.
yeah, maybe Colton Cowser listened to that little Jim Palmer rant on Chris Davis and figures out just go up there, just try to make contact instead of hitting homers.
It's just I don't know what type of offensive philosophy the coaching staff is preaching, but it's not it.
I haven't been able to get a grasp of any philosophy so far with this coaching staff. I mean, it just seems like they're shell shocked, like at times, of like what's happening, and they struggle with the adjustment piece. I mean, like
yeah. I mean, it does seem like we're in 2026, but this coaching staff is still in 2025.
it's just and it's a lot of new coaches, so it's just really hard. Like, it's not like when we had Buck Showalter come in 2010. Like you felt that change. Like it was, we're playing accountable baseball. You do your job. If you do not do your job, I will find someone else to do your job. Type deal. You're going to play defense, right? We're gonna hit the ball. Eventually it became we're here to hit homers at some point. But it's like, but we also had that defensive accountability. And I
Yeah.
mean, with the bullpen, I mean, he relied on that bullpen really heavily because we didn't have like the best pitching staff in the world, but our pitching staff could go 5 innings and
Mhm.
then we could go to the bullpen. So, and I mean, you look at what happened from 2011 to 2012. I mean, the 2011 we lost a lot of one-run games. 2012 we won like 29 of them. So it's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Come back. Oh,
yeah, it was just. I mean, Buck just brought that mentality. I mean, we need to have some type of mentality from this coaching staff like that. It's like, what are we priding ourselves on? Because with Buck, it was we're here to play defense, and we're just going to hit homers in your face.
yeah.
And I mean, it worked.
And the other thing to me too is this team just cannot capitalize on the big moments and the statement wins. You know, we have a big statement win, and then you know what happens after every big statement win, pretty much this season, whether it was that big comeback win we had, or when we knocked 6 home runs and 12 runs against the Astros, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We lost the next 2 games. You know, was it the doubleheader against the Astros? We hit 2 grand slams, and then we turned around and got our ass kicked. And I know it's a doubleheader, and winning both games of a doubleheader is hard, but it just seems like anytime this team gets any sort of momentum, the next 2 games we lose, and then we're right back to where we started. You take 1 step forward, you take 2 steps backwards.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you look at every game where we put up big runs. Like
Yeah.
where the offense went off and the pitching looked good, and then
It's
we just crashed for 3 games after that.
yeah, it's just it's the consistency. And I think the only way to get the consistency is to, one, have consistent players in the lineup, and 2, have those same players in consistent positions. Like I said earlier, there's 2 players on this team that I trust to play more than one position, and it's Blaze Alexander and Jeremiah Jackson, because they have proven that they can play serviceable positions. You know, Mayo has had bonehead plays at third, but he's played a serviceable third base. And yeah, and he's also had multiple years to also play first base. So you can split him between third and first. That's fine. But like when it comes to was it Weston Wilson, who I don't know why is on this team personally. He doesn't If he's your defensive replacement, he doesn't play good defense. If he's he's not a utility guy because he's a third baseman. You can't put him in left field. You can't put him in right field. He's not a utility player. I don't know what his role on this team is other than to be another right-handed bat, which I don't. I would rather, again, play the way Basayo has been hitting the ball recently. Play him against left-handers. I trust Basayo to get a hit, to get that crucial hit in the game more than I trust, a Weston Wilson. And it's like I know some of these guys are on the team because of injuries, and I know they won't be there when these other guys come back from injuries. But at the same time, it's just like, stop. If they're there because of injuries, stop playing them ahead of the guys that are going to be on this team long term. You didn't go out and sign or trade for a big center field. For that center fielder who's going to be, cover the ball like Mullins did. You know what you said? You said Colton Cowser was good enough. And guess what? I think Colton Cowser is good enough in center field. He's a good defensive center
Well,
fielder.
I've never questioned his defense. It's always,
Yeah.
is the bat gonna come around
Yeah.
to some point that it's palpable to
I mean,
have him?
Listen, I know it's been a long time, but you got to remember, Colton Cowser got robbed. And I'm going to say he got robbed of Rookie of the Year. fuck that Yankees pitcher. Okay, that dude did not deserve Rookie of the Year. Yes, he
Luis
had a good
Gill?
year. Don't get
Trashing Luis
Luis Gill
Gill.
had a
Oh,
Luis Gill had a good year, but if you're gonna give a pitcher the Rookie of the Year award, it has to be a Paul Skeens good year. It can't
all
just
right.
be like a solid year for a rookie pitcher. All right. Colton Cowser was, to me, Colton Cowser was robbed of Rookie of the Year. But that's here nor there. We've seen Colton Cowser perform in the big leagues, and I believe we'll see it again. I think he just needs to get to the point where he can force the issue and force that fastball.
Yeah, where he's actually able to take those close pitches that are
Yeah.
breaking off the plate and not chase them.
Yeah. And again, I've seen better results. It's slow but it's surely. I think I've seen better results from him. But I just can't stand when I look at the lineup. And it's one thing to see one name. It's one thing to see two names. But when I see 3 and 4 names in that lineup where I'm like, is this the long term? Like, is this lineup the long-term lineup of this team? No. So why is he the lineup for game 1 of the fucking Yankees? It's like, or game 2, whatever it was. It's like, are we trying to win this game or aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is no, I think part of it's an Albie problem. I don't put the blame solely on him though. I blame the front office who has built the team and has caused the issue.
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely Elias needs to figure it out as well. But the playing time for me has got to change. You have to give the guys who the young core you believe in, or you're supposed to believe in, you have to give them the playing opportunities. And I know Tavares is playing well, so if you want to keep him in center field for the time being, fine. But your left fielder should be Colton Cowser, and your right fielder should be Ward. If you're not going to play, if Beavers is going to be the odd man out in that left field, in the outfield, then it's got to be Colton Cowser and Ward.
Yeah, there's just a lot because I don't know if Elias is putting the pressure to play O'Neill just because we gave him all that money. But that's not an Albie problem.
Yeah.
It's not an Albie problem. That's a Mike Elias problem. Why did you sign into that deal to begin with then?
The O'Neill deal it really is going to haunt this team because he just adds an extra outfielder, and we traded for Ward too. Ward's performing,
Mm-hmm.
He's been a solid player for us, and I know you can't just build a team from your farm system. You do need to bring in those outside pieces. You do need to bring in those different voices.
Yeah. But guess what our problem is? Guess what the whole farm system's filled with? It's filled with outfielders. Honeycutt, Bradfield, geez.
A couple of years ago it was filled with shortstops. So
no, but it I don't know. It's Ward's performing. Would it be surprising if Elias goes and signs Ward to an extension for performing? No. But then at that point, Elias, are you going to start trading prospects finally? Elias is just so. It's just astonishing when he feels like he wants to make a trade and when he doesn't. It's because some of these trades he just overpays like crazy. And the only trade there's 2 trades I've been able to get behind so far. The Corbin Burns deal, that worked out really well. And this Ward deal has worked out for us because Rodriguez still isn't pitching. We got a solid outfielder for us in this deal. But it's Will
the
DeVos.
Rogers. The Rogers deal worked out.
Oh, He's
We'll
hurt,
see.
and
He's hurt right now.
he hasn't looked good. Last 3 starts, I don't know.
It's just I'm not ready to give up on Rodgers. I still think this guy can get back on track because it's not just like you can't say last year was a fluke because before he had Tommy John with the Miami
Marlins. Mhm.
Marlins, yeah. He was a great pitcher. He had like a solid 2.6 ERA or something like that.
His rookie season was phenomenal, and then he was decent. He was like a number 3
Yeah.
after that, but like his rookie year was phenomenal.
Yeah. So I fully believe I want Rodgers to get back on track. I didn't quite think that my bad take of your first of this first podcast was that we should sign a Rodgers before the All-Star break. But
No. Your bad take was Adley was going to be an All-Star, and I'm telling you what, that's not a bad take anymore.
it's not
I
a
mean,
bad take. I stand by that. That was my best take of the year.
Adley's proven he should be on the All-Star team right now.
Yeah. People again, and people have said there's no room for it, especially Phillies fans who are like, "Oh, we should trade for Adley Rutschman because they already signed Basayo. He's their catcher." No, there's room for both of these players on the team.
Yeah, I mean,
There
honestly,
absolutely is.
I like it between Alonso, Basayo, Adley. You can rotate first, catcher, DH out of that crew.
Absolutely,
I like it.
And like, not only is there room for these two players are vital. Like, they are vital to the long-term success of this team. Having Adley back on track has really just been one of the few bright spots so far in the season. And, we're not out of it. This month. This next month of play is really going to tell us where we're going. It's going to tell us, like, is this another bust? Are we going to sell, are we going to be trading off a bunch of players again?
Well, here's the
Or
thing: if it's a bust, I mean, we sell Ward. I mean, who else can we really sell? I mean, maybe
Tavares.
maybe Rogers, Tavares,
um,
Bassett,
yeah, Bassett.
but it's
Maybe even Tyler O'Neill,
so I don't think anyone's taking that contract. Unless we pay it off. Unless we say
Yeah.
we're paying you to take the whole annual deal for a prospect. I mean,
Yeah.
our schedule. We got Miami these next 3 games. Then we got the Athletics and then the Yankees again. Then the Nationals. Tampa Bay's freaking on fire right now. That's going to be rough. Then we got Detroit. They lost Scooball. So maybe they hit a downturn. Maybe we catch them on a downturn, maybe. We got Tampa Bay again. And then we got Toronto, and Toronto's starting to figure it out a little bit. So, I mean, there's going to be some tough series because you got the Yankees at home for 3. We got Tampa Bay home and away for 3 and 3, and then we got Toronto at home for 4. I mean, we have to take 2 out of 3 in Miami, and we have to try to sweep the Athletics.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Nationals. We got to try. I mean,
for me, it's just this at a bare minimum, we have to be above 500. Not like I don't know if our record has to be above 500 by the end of the month, but we as a team have to play above 500. Like,
yeah, you got to be like 1 game below 500 at the end of the month because June's going to be rough. I mean, June is that's a rough schedule.
It's just like May is we have to play up at this point. We lost 4. We have to get back on track. So the way to do that is Miami and the Athletics. And if we can take
the Nationals.
If we can take 4 out of 6 from this stretch, go home. I don't know who we're facing. I mean, it seems funny to say this, but like if Garrett Cole were to make his first start Camden Yards this year, well, that might give us a shot to take the series. If we can we need to take at least 1 game from the Yankees in this series. I mean, I would prefer if we win the series, obviously. Um, but and then we need to sweep the Nationals. Tampa Bay, I think that's a winnable series. I really do. Um, even though they're playing really well. We played Tampa Bay well in these last couple of years. I think this is a winnable series.
No, I mean Kevin Brown almost got fired. That little
Yeah.
Tampa.
That is old ownership.
That's old ownership. But I mean,
Yeah. So
here's the thing: you look at the wild card standings right now. We're 2 out of the wild card. Guess who has a wild card spot? The White Sox. The Chicago White Sox have the third.
The White
wild
Sox
card
are
spot.
actually playing. They're playing very well.
They're
For
7-3
team.
in their last 10. I mean, Tampa Bay's
Yeah.
on fire. They're 9-1. Tampa Bay's got that first one locked up at the moment. Like, I don't. My big thing is, I don't want to pull this Dan Duquette crap that we used to back in the day, where we play for a wild card spot like that last one. Because I mean, Duquette made some terrible trades in 13 and 15 when he was
Mhm.
trying to play that competitive bull crap. We traded away a Cy Young pitcher in 2013. We
Yep.
traded away Jake Arrieta, who won a Cy Young with the Cubs. We got Clevenger and Scott Feldman out of that deal. Terrible. Now, Clevenger did
Mhm.
bring us Mark Trumbo in 16, so it was worth something. But that didn't work out. And then 15, we traded Zach Davies, who was a very serviceable number 4 pitcher for over half a decade in the bigs, for Para, who played a week and then got hurt for the rest of the season.
I mean, yeah, it is. I think it's important. That's also. I mean, we can take perspective because obviously we've talked ad nauseum about the Orioles, but I mean, we take perspective of the American League right now. The Yankees are 24-11. They are 680. Above 500.
Yeah. 8 and
The
2 over the last 10. I mean,
yeah,
Yankees and Tampa Bay right now are just they're the ones that are on top.
The Athletics are winning their division right now. 5-5 of their last 10. They're 2 games above 500. They're 529. Cleveland's leading their series or their division. They're 18 and 18 exactly at 500. 4 for their last.
And
4 and 6 for the last 10.
Kansas
And then
City's
Tampa
catching
Bay,
on
like you
fire
said.
though.
Yeah. And like you said,
So-
Tampa Bay is also 22 and 12. So the unfortunately for the Orioles, once again, the American League East seems to produce the best teams.
Well-
And Tampa Bay and the Yankees are leading the pack. But those are the only 500. Oh, and Detroit. Detroit is also 500. Everybody else, your third wild card spot belongs to the White Sox. They're a game under 500. Seattle's 2 games under 500. Texas 2 games. Toronto's 3. Kansas City, they're 8 and 2, but they're still 3 games above or under 500. Everybody in this division is under 500. Or not division, in this league is under 500, except for 3 teams. 3 teams are above 500 and 2 teams are at 500. So it's like we're still very much in this. Just like more than half the league right now, we have to figure it out. It's just we're out of brace periods.
Well, so right now we are 29th in run differential. Phillies are the only ones below us. We have 40. We're at negative 41. Phillies at negative 42. That needs to change. That needs to fix. But at the moment, we're 1-7 against teams greater than 500. That also needs to flip. Now, we don't need to be 7-1, but we need to be better than that. We need to be close to like 3-4, 4-3. We need to be there. Those are the 2 things that need to start. That need to start helping with this change. Is we need to stop giving up runs and not scoring runs. We need to keep the games close, and we need to win some of these games that are close against teams better than 500. That's where it needs to change. Now, where does it start? I mean, like you said, it needs to start with a consistent lineup that needs to be put out every day. But it also needs to be, we got to fix this. I mean, we got pitching injuries galore at the moment.
Yeah.
And Carl Edwards Jr. is a free agent now. I know he hasn't been the top tier reliever he was with the Cubs early in his career. He's only given up 1 run so far in a decent amount of innings. I think that would be a good pickup for the bullpen at the moment because Trevino is definitely not it right now. So, like Trevino had a great rookie season with the A's, and then it's just a roller coaster after that. Like
Yeah.
it's a big ups, big downs type of roller coaster. I'd take a crack at Carl Edwards Jr. I'd scour some of those minor league guys right now in minor league contracts, see what's out there in AAA, what's major league experience that have decent track records. I try to pluck them off some
Yeah.
rosters. It's Mike Eli is just the waiver wire isn't cutting it anymore for building a team. You can't build a contending team consistently off the waiver wire. Can you find some hidden gems? Absolutely. But you can't rely on it consistently. If we have a repeat of last season, I think ownership has to look at going a different direction in the front office. Mike Elias has
Yeah.
done fantastic at building the pipeline. I give him credit where credit is due. He solidified our minor league system, which we hadn't had in decades.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
get,
at
we
the
get
very least, they made Michael Elias president of baseball operations
yeah.
last year, and it was a horrible year. So I don't know. The
Well,
ownership to me seems to buy into Michael Elias. And again, I'm not necessarily against Michael Elias, but I do think if this season goes the way last year went, we at the very least need a voice. We need a new voice in that front office, like you said, that is going to take away some responsibilities from Mike.
well, I think Mike just needs someone else to build out the major league team, someone else to pull the trigger on trades, and someone else to look at pieces to add in free agency. It's someone that can identify these are the prospects I think we can keep here long term that can help this team. Here's who we have on the major league roster now. How long can they be sustainable for on our roster? Someone just to look at that, where it's like, like Grayson Rodriguez, we figured the injury history, it just wasn't worth to keep him around, even though we still had 4 years of control. It was just injuries piled up too much. You're not pitching for us.
And
And
I also think there might have been some of a attitude problem with Grayson. So
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think someone else needs to be the voice.
Yeah. What kind of left a bad taste with Grayson too is like when he didn't want to have surgery, he wanted to rehab, and then like I saw him in a video at Molly's, like the sporting goods store,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there shooting arrows, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? I'm like,
That dude is always at Molly's, man. I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my own pet peeve about that. But like, yeah, I'm not by any means giving up on this season. I still think the Orioles can turn it around. I like Craig. I like what I've seen from Craig Alvarez. I like the little pep talks that he gives. When he's taking a pitcher out who's had like a good outing, like he stops them and has like one last word with them. Because I think especially for like a young pitcher, it is easy. Like you have a really good 5 innings or 6 innings, and you get in a jam, and you can't get that last out, and you want every pitcher wants to end their outing in the dugout,
Yeah.
rather than be pulled off the mound. So that little last pep talk that Craig does, I really like that. I think that's good for morale. I like also you see these guys, the infield when they're taking the pitcher out, the infield gathers in, and they're all like patting the pitcher on the back, congratulating him or telling him, hey, no worries, we got this, whatever. Every situation you see that all these guys are coming together. I like that. I see the guys in the dugout are engaged, where they're engaged with every at bat. I like it. I think there's a lot of good signs for this team. It's just that it's this. We have 12. The way I see it is we have like a 12-game stretch coming up, and if we go 8-4, there's hope. If we go 4-8, then I think that's just too big of a hole, just like last year.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, good chatting with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully next time we're talking 8-4 and not 40.
Hopefully.
All right, we're going to talk some Phillies baseball when we come back to end the podcast. But first, we want to reveal our next big giveaway, which will be an autograph card of 3-time Orioles World Series champion, 3-time AL Cy Young Award winner, and Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. Really big card. So make sure you're following us on our social media pages on how to enter for a chance to win. And now back to the last portion of episode 5 of Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes. All right, well, let's transition to your beloved Phillies. They're on a run. We're on a run right now.
Oh my God. Yeah, so I did not. So, all right, I love Rob Thompson. I thought he was such a great manager. I had such high respect for him. And obviously, the players didn't want to see him leave. But when you start the season, what were we 9-19 or something I can't even remember the exact number off the top of my head. It was just terrible.
Like that,
yeah.
You were in New York Mets territory is what it was.
Yeah, we were in Mets territory. You don't want to be in Mets territory. So something had to change. And I didn't want to see Don Mattingly become the manager because that meant that Rob Thompson would be fired and only the knuckle dragger Neanderthal WIP callers were calling for his ousting for the longest time. But it was obvious that something had to change, and we can't get off of those massive contracts, and you can only blame the player so much. So a change had to be made. Don Mattingly came in, and I mean, he seems to be doing great. I mean, his son's Preston's in the organization as the GM. And I have, growing up in a baseball family, the name Don Mattingly was revered. And just seeing him taking charge of the Phillies, kind of bringing his whole ethos to the organization has been cool to see. And if we were going to go flip-flop from Topper to Donnie Baseball, I'm glad we did it early on. And I have faith that the season, I don't want it to be saved. I don't think it's going to be saved. We're not going to catch the Braves. The Braves are too fucking good. They're so good this year. But maybe we can compete for that second, third wild card spot, which would be awesome. But, you say you can't win the pennant in April, May, but you sure as hell can lose it, and I think we lost it. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I really think the only competition, which sucks, is it's not in your division. It's the NL Central.
Yeah, oh my God, stacked, yeah.
Somehow the NL Central stacked this season. I don't know how.
What the hell is going on? Like, the Pirates are good. Like, I can think of like one season that the Pirates have ever been decent, and that's 2013 with Kutch. I mean, did they just some sort of voodoo magic going on there? I mean, is Livy Dunn like sprinkling dust all over the organization? Like, what the hell is happening?
I mean, Skeens isn't his normal self this season. It's just like it's the weirdest thing how everyone is living up to the potential of what they were when they were prospects in that division. It seems like with the Cardinals, like Jordan Walker is now like is one of the top 10 baseball players somehow. I don't know how. Like
Cardinals Devil Magic, that's what it is. Something about the organization. I don't know what the hell it is, but they never seem to be on the outs. And if they are on the outs, it's not for long.
And I mean, they like when you look at their offseason moves, it didn't look like they were tanking, but It didn't look like they were trying to win a World Series.
Nobody expected them to be decent.
Yeah. Like they're 22-15. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Just something about that organization, nothing can ever seem to go wrong for them. And when things do seem to be looking down, they snap their fingers and it gets reversed. And that's why they're one of the classic MLB franchises.
yeah, I mean, because it's really what Cardinals, Padres, Pirates right now are the 3 wild cards, and the Phillies are 4 games back of the Pirates. So
I'll take that though. The way things were looking for the first first 30 games of the season, 40, whatever it is, the fact that we're competitive now is nothing short of a miracle. And that's starting to heat up, which is great to say. Great to see. I mean, we got boat raced by the A's, I guess the Sacramento A's last night, which was abysmal. Bring back the series, the city series is always fun to see, but when you lose 14-1, that always sucks. But things are looking up in Philadelphia, which is it's always sunny in Philadelphia, and God, I hope we can just do something. But at least if it's be making entertaining to get to the Eagle season, my Phillies are my favorite team. Out of any team, I want them to win. But I just need something to entertain me to the Eagle season because I don't foresee us making the playoffs.
Dude, I mean, the Orioles have the same record. We're only 1 game back in the wild card. The American League sucks this year. Tampa Bay, number 1 wild card, is 7.5 games up on everyone.
Yeah.
That's how crappy the American League is playing right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like the West in hockey. It's just one of those things.
We got 4 teams in the American League with a winning record. Everyone else is below 500. That's terrible baseball.
Yeah. The baseball hasn't been sexy this year, but that's another cool thing about, MLB this year is there's so much parity this year which hasn't been seen in such a long time. It's really, there's no one other than the fucking Dodgers. There's no one like, holy shit, this team's gonna win it all. But there's a lot of parity, which I think is interesting as we head into the union negotiations next this offseason to see how that's going to play out.
You're seriously not hearing that at work from the Yankee fans?
What's that?
The Yankee fans right now, man, they're 26-12, dude. That's all I hear. The Yankees are going to do it. I'm like, the Yankees are going to choke.
Once again, they're going to find a way to shoot themselves in the foot somehow. And I love Aaron Boone. He's the son of Philly's great Bob Boone, so I always have a special spot in my heart for him. But I just don't see him getting the Yankees to the top. I don't think he's the guy. Yeah. And that could be my bad take if you need a bad take. But Aaron Boone's not the guy for the Yankees. They need somebody else.
I don't think Aaron Boone's the guy. I think Aaron Boone's more of a yes man than anything for ownership.
He's really just felt like the placeholder for what he's been there for 8 years, something like that now, almost 10. Mm-hmm. He really feels like he's been the placeholder where they're trying to find somebody else to take a spot, and it just hasn't materialized. I feel like for the longest time they've been looking for any excuse to get rid of him. I feel like going in the last couple of off seasons, the biggest question is Aaron Boone gone? And somehow he's still there.
Well, guess what? You lucked out because Don Mattingly, I thought, would have been the perfect fit because he was Mr. Yankee himself for a little bit. So.
I thought it was going to be Donnie Baseball. I would have put money that Don Mattingly was going to be the next manager at the New York Yankees. And unless he either steps down, retires, or the Phillies don't hire him back, I don't foresee him that happening, which makes me happy.
Yeah. Any moves you think Phillies need to make trade deadline wise at the moment?
I want to get rid of Alec Boehm. I want to get rid of Alec Boehm so badly. I love Bryson Stott. He needs a change of scenery. I think it's best for him and the organization. They just part ways. And I think this season is going to be getting the young guys some experience. Andrew Painter got shelled last night, but the more reps he gets in the bigs, I think the better he'll do. I'd love to see Aiden Miller if he gets his injury sorted out, come up. Justin Crawford, I'd love to see him get more reps in the field. So I really feel like this is just a transition year. I think I said that on the last podcast that this is more of a transition year. Let's get some of the young guys up. Let's get some experience. Let's get rid of some of those bad contracts. We obviously can't get rid of Bryce or Kyle or Trey or even Chris Sanchez or Zach Wheeler or anybody like that. We're stuck with them for the foreseeable future, which is for better for worse. But I really want to see some of the young guys get some shots. And I think that would be the best thing is just bringing up some young talent so we can evaluate them and see how we look heading into the second half of this decade and heading into the 2030s when we could be competitive again.
Yeah, I mean, third base is weak across the whole board in the bigs
Oh,
this
I
year
know.
for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Aiden Miller, you think they might bring him up and play some third maybe?
That's my hope. Yeah, I'd really, haven't been checked on in a while. He's been dealing with a bad back. I'd love to see him get some reps at third. Because I don't think Alec Boehm is the future. And once again, I love Alec Boehm for all he's done for the city. We'll always have 2022. We'll always have I fucking hate this place. But I think for everybody's benefit, Stott and Boehm, they need to change the scenery. Maybe Brandon Marsh as well. Once again, love you, Brandon. But I think it might be time for a change of scenery there as well. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
A rumor I did see and I kind of like. I don't foresee it happening, but if it would pan out, it would make me very happy. That obviously the Giants aren't off to the greatest start. Giants signed Harrison Bader in the offseason. Harrison Bader was beloved in Philadelphia when he was there for the second half of last season. So if we were to somehow bring him back for this season, that would make me very happy. I don't foresee it happening, but that'd be pretty cool.
Okay. I mean, what prospects would you think it would take, though? Because I know right now you're loaded with pitching prospects at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not something unnecessary. It's from a fan standpoint. The fans always think with their hearts. They're not thinking with their brains. I don't think it would be worth it. I want to see what the young guys had. This roster got old fast, so fast. And we need to bring some young talent up, and we got to see what the young guys have.
Yeah, man. You probably need to look at some bench pieces, I think, too, for utility.
Yeah, we got Sosa, who's like our do-it-all, like spark, and we brought Stubbs up, which was in a great move. But I mean, other than them, like we don't have much else coming off the bench.
Yeah, and starting pitching wise, I mean, luckily you guys let Walker go and take a walk finally.
Oh my God, that was the biggest addition by subtraction ever. I had medium hopes for Taiwan when we signed him a couple of years ago. I thought he'd be great, and every time he took the mound, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again. And I could check my phone, I'd see we'd be down 6-0 in the second. I'm like, oh, Taiwan was starting tonight, and I'll check like, yep, Taiwan gave up 6 in the first again.
Yeah, Sanchez, Wheeler look really good, but there's like really nothing right now that's starting rotation after that.
Jesus Luzardo has been having a fine year, like nothing great, nothing spectacular. And I have somewhat high hopes for him, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, the biggest addition we could have made was Wheeler coming back, and I've been happy with what I've seen so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the bullpen, the back end's good, but you definitely need some middle relief to help.
Yeah,
you can blame Taiwan for wasting it.
Yeah, we need some long guys, and that's been lacking, and that's been a giant hole this season. So we'll see what happens there. I think Dave. Dave. I don't want to say it's a short leash because John Middleton trusts Dave Dombrowski with all his heart, but Dave signed some old players to long contracts that aren't looking the greatest right now. So I don't want to say that this might be Dave's last run in Philadelphia, but I wouldn't be surprised if after the season, if things go south, if he steps back into more of like a advisement role with the organization and have Preston Mattingly call the shot, which I'd be completely fine with.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what happens with Mike Elias, because now he's president of baseball operations. He just Mike, go oversee the development piece and let someone else build a major league roster.
Yeah.
Because you're terrible at it. No, I'll tell you what, there is one guy I like on your roster. He's on the injured list, but Zach Pop. So Zach Pop was one of the pieces the O's got back in the Machado trade.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude, as soon as we got him, AA, lights out closer. Had Tommy John. We didn't, and then we didn't add him to the 40-man when he hit like his 5 years being in the minors. And then the Marlins picked him in the Rule 5, went to Toronto, and now he's in Philly. When he's on, dude, he's on. He is a legit awesome arm to have. But he's not healthy.
Yeah. And I think there's, other than maybe the goalie for the Flyers and the quarterback for the Eagles, there is no one in Philadelphia has more pressure on them than anybody coming out of the Phillies bullpen. So we'll take what we can get. If he can get healthy, which would be great. Love to have his arm back there, but no pressure, dude.
Yeah. Well, all right. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna walk back my hot take from last time because, or my bad take from last time because I'm too excited for the Eagle season. I'm feeling a lot better after the draft. But I think if we need a bad take, I think, God, fuck. What is my bad take today? My bad take today is the Montreal Canadiens are the future of the NHL, which is funny to say because they are the most historically dominant team in the history of the NHL, but they haven't won a cup since '93. But I think they have what it takes to be a team moving forward, and that is my bad take for today. And I have no statistics or whatever to back it up, which makes it my bad take. It's all my gut feeling. So yeah, look out for Montreal Canadiens.
Well, at least you didn't say trust the process with the Sixers. So,
Oh my God. Oh, I'm surrounded by Knicks fans here in New York, and they're all. I let my Sixers allegiance lay low. I don't like to flaunt that because it's been such an embarrassment since 2001 when we went to the finals with AI. It's been a shit show
yeah.
ever since then. And they're very very clearly the number 4 out of my 4 teams that I love from Philadelphia. But fuck the New York Knicks. This has been a rough series.
Now that you said that, dude, Giants are coming. Now that you said that, the New York Giants are coming.
If I have to hear Knicks in 6 one more time, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, God. Awesome.
Bing
All right,
bong.
man. All right, man. Awesome talking with you.
Likewise.
Always a pleasure. All right.
Yeah.
And we'll see if any of your takes come true.
Let's see.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for episode 5 of the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes podcast. We'd like to thank you for joining us and make sure you're following us on our social media pages to know how to enter for the chance to win an awesome autograph card signed by Jim Palmer. Till next time, and remember, Cito still sucks.